How did you put a spoiled rich family in their place? My fiancée was so entitled that she told everyone she left me because a consultant said I'd underperform as a husband. Her family had the kind of money that hires people to think for them. Her father, Gerald, ran a private office with staff whose entire job was to vet the people who got close to the family. Investments, charities, friends, and apparently boyfriends. When she and I argued, she didn't argue back. She simply stopped speaking, and within a day she'd be gone. A spa in Napa, a friend's villa, a wellness reset in Lisbon, all booked by her father before I'd even finished my sentence. The last reset lasted 3 weeks. When she came back, she sat me down, held my hand, and told me she was ending it. Not because of anything I'd done, because the family had commissioned a character and compatibility report, and the report said I would eventually disappoint her. She said it gently, like she was reading a diagnosis. Then she told our entire circle that she'd left me because I'd been assessed and found wanting. Honestly, I was relieved. I'd spent 2 years being audited. I handed back the ring, moved out of the apartment her family technically owned, and went to stay with my brother. Then the calls started. Block number, always late. The first one was Gerald himself, and he didn't say hello. He told me I'd embarrassed his daughter, and that people who embarrassed his family had a way of finding life difficult. He said it calmly, the way you'd read a weather report. I hung up with my hands shaking because I knew exactly what his money could do. 2 weeks later, I was walking out of a job interview downtown when 2 security officers stopped me in the lobby. Someone had reported a stolen watch, they said. A watch matching one from a private residence. They wanted me to come with them, and when I asked what possible reason they had to stop me, one of them looked me up and down and said, "Because guys like you always take something. Guys like you." Nobody had said a word about money. That was how I knew. They didn't take me to a station. They put me in a car and drove me 40 minutes out of the city, through a gate I recognized, up a drive I'd walked 100 times, and left me standing in front of the house. Gerald was waiting on the steps with a cup of coffee, perfectly calm, a man who had never in his life been told no. I asked him if this was the part where something happened to me. He almost smiled. "Don't be dramatic," he said. "We need to talk." He walked me inside, past his daughter, who was on a sofa with her phone and didn't look up once. He sat me down in a study that cost more than my parents' house. And then, for the first time since I'd known him, his voice cracked. "My daughter is pregnant," he said. "It isn't yours." He turned the cup slowly in his hands. "It belongs to a married man whose family has been at war with ours for 30 years. His wife has lawyers. There will be a filing, and there will be press, and there is a morality clause in my mother's trust that my daughter will trigger the moment this becomes public. $16 million. Gone. And we are 11 weeks from a public listing that I have spent my entire adult life building." He looked up at me, and there was something in his face I'd never seen before. Need. "Tell the court the child is yours. Marry her quietly. Make this boring instead of ugly." He set the cup down. "Name your number. There isn't one I won't pay." I sat there for a long moment. I won't pretend I didn't think about it. There was enough on that table to erase every debt I had twice over. But then I looked at him. This man who'd had me stopped in a lobby by strangers who called me a thief, and at his daughter in the next room, who still hadn't lifted her head. And I understood something. The money would spend. Watching these people finally lose would last the rest of my life. I stood up. At the door, I turned around. "You had someone write a report on me," I said. "You should read it again. It said I'd disappoint you eventually." Gerald opened his mouth. Nothing came out. "I hope it works out for you," I said. "Truly. Best of luck." Then I walked out into the daylight, past the car and the men who'd brought me there, and I didn't look back once. I read about the lawsuit 4 months later, like everyone else did. The listing never happened. Some people you don't have to ruin, you just have to decline.